what's written in that book.
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna give it to you in case you wanted it, mainly because of what it has on.
You count it? Okay. They scratch it out, I don't know what the number is. Okay, 2017 2-3 sheet, like a rate sheet kind of thing. Okay, I'll look for it. Thank you. It says something identical to this, so I printed this exhibit A off. Am I looking for this?
No, it
So that's
wasn't.
what I was trying to figure out. Okay, what is this?
I had to piece it together too.
Okay,
Going on.
okay,
That's,
sorry.
yeah, you still got people with half plates in there, so.
Okay, good. Okay.
It'll look like that without the red stuff.
Oh, like that. Okay. And this is on my email I got, right?
2, yes.
Okay, I'll print that off so I'll know what I'm looking
4,
for.
5, 6. It went on for a few pages.
Oh, wow, good.
But it basically puts in words that spreadsheet.
I have 4 Senator folders I pulled, from David's side, and I'll be looking for that in one of them. Okay, thank you. I just need to know what it looked like to try to find it.
That needs to be.
No. No, stop it.
I'm trying.
You just,
So, that happened. Nope. Yeah, I guess so. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. The button for Zoom was right above uninstall Zoom. No, but I'll call. Yeah, because I just deleted Zoom instead of signing into Zoom. So, that's exciting. It's cold in here, like everywhere. Hi, it's Lisa. And do we know our Zoom login for this council chamber's computer? Well, see, the button for uninstall Zoom was right over the Zoom button, so I accidentally uninstalled it.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, December the 13th, 2021. We'd like to welcome all of you who are joining us in the audience this evening, as well as those who are joining us online. At this time, I'll call on our City Secretary, Ms. Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Ms. Matlock? Here. Ms. Hart? Here. Ms. Williams? Here. Ms. Page? Here. Mr. Harp? Here. Mr. Davis?
Here. We do have a full council this evening, and our invocation and pledge will be led by Councilmember Jean Matlock. If everyone will please stand.
Will you bow your heads, please? Heavenly Father, I come to you today with a humble and grateful heart. Lord, we thank you for another day to serve our city. Lord, we ask that you touch each one of us and give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make wise decisions. Lord, we ask that you, at the beginning, at the ending of this 2021 year, we ask that you have each of us look back and reflect on what we've done for the city and see that what we have done has been for the good of the city and done with a good heart. Lord, we ask you to bless all our city employees, especially our firemen, especially our policemen. Lord, we ask that you give each one of us the spirit of giving at this time of the year and help us to realize that the reason for the season is Jesus Christ, and that my hope for everyone here is that you experience the joy that Jesus gave us, his life, that you also experience joy, life, and hope at the end of the year. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. At this time, we will have our swearing-in ceremony for the mayor's position, as well as Ward 1 and Ward 2. Ward 1 is occupied by Jean Matlock. Ward 2 is occupied by Mary Hart. And we do have Judge Sherry Hawkins with us this evening, and she will provide the oath. And so, Councilmember Matlock, Councilmember Hart, if you will please join me down front, then we will do our oath.
All right. If each of you will raise your right hand and repeat after me, I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the City of Texarkana, Texas, and of the State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God. Congratulations. Mr. Mayor, I think I have yours first. Just take these in the order they show up. Everybody has a different pen. And let's see. That's you.
Okay. I'll sign here.
Yes.
Okay.
And, Mayor, let's see. Well, can I add your certificate first? Here we go.
Okay.
Your eyes are better than mine. This nice certificate.
Okay.
Thank you. And next, let's see, I have Ms. Matlock. Here's a pen for you. Sign my pen, please. Thank you. This is your certificate. Congratulations. And Ms. Hart, if you would step forward. Let me do this. Hang on 1 second. All right, if you would sign right there, please, ma'am. And this is your certificate. Thank you all.
Judge.
Thank you.
Well, very good. Since we've had our swearing-in ceremony, I will ask Councilmember Matlock and then follow up with Councilmember Hart if you all have any remarks or comments that you would like to share with the audience and the staff and the council this evening. Ms. Matlock?
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to thank the residents of Ward 1 and the other wards in the city who has enough confidence in me to want me to do this job. It hasn't been easy, I tell you. I wish that everyone could experience it because I have learned so much about the city, about how the city runs, things that I never knew before, little simple things. And my goal now is to make sure that the citizens are informed about these rules so that they'll have a little bit more tolerance with us as city council members because they think things can be done yesterday. And if they just knew how the city was run, it would be so much easier on everybody. And I'm going to do as much as I can to keep them informed. And I'd like to thank everybody again for believing in me and wanting me to be in this office.
Thank you, Ms. Matlock. Ms. Hart?
Yes, I would like to thank the city of Texarkana, Texas. A lot of you all have helped me. You've given me great advice and pointers. I've asked some crazy questions and multiple questions and repetitive questions, but it was all in a learning experience. I'd like to especially thank the citizens of Ward 2. I did not know that Ward 2 was another city of its own, but it's there, and it's a lot of territory, and it's a lot of work to be done, and I look forward to continuing to addressing a lot of the issues and making new friends and solving problems for as many people as I can. There are projects that I believe that would be very rewarding to the community as a whole, and I hope to participate in those things and that they yield great results. I also would like to thank a great friend and my sister in Christ who stood by me and went every inch of Ward 2 with me. We met all the bulldogs. I mean, I never would have thought I'd ever see so many bulldogs in my life. We saw other ones, but, you know, the pit bulls are supposed to be aggressive and scary. I only met Buster. Buster got too close to me. He was a little, I named him Buster. But anyway, I would like for Ms. Gibbons to stand. This is one of Ward's 2 outstanding citizens. And I could never thank her enough for all of her devotion and standing by me through the campaign. And I I really have grown as a council member. Someone even told me, my goodness, you sure do sound like a city councilwoman. And I was wondering to myself, boy, that's a good thing. But, you know, when somebody compliments you with something like that, that shows some growth, you know. And I'm still growing, and I've enjoyed the rest of the council members. Ms. Matlock, she's given me a lot of great tips. Ms. Williams, she just says what's on her mind and let you know. And Mayor Bob as well, Mr. Harp and Jay, we've had nice times together. And that's important when you work with people, to be able to enjoy their company. And David, that's these outstanding young man. And Mr. Bashir, I could name you all, but I'm going to stop. You know why? Because I don't know all of your names yet. But I'd like to thank all of you, and I look forward to doing this next term with you.
Thank you, Ms. Matlock. Thank you, Ms. Hart. And I just have a few brief remarks I would like to make as well. I just want to pass along my sincere appreciation to our citizens of Texarkana, Texas for their support. As I've mentioned before, serving on the city council and being mayor is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And it's also been one of the most challenging things that I've ever done as well. We are in a very good point in time with our city. We have some outstanding projects that are currently underway. We have an incredible city staff and fellow council members as well, and so I'm just very excited about the days to come. I also want to thank my family. My wife Jackie is here in the audience this evening, along with my daughter Olivia and Olivia's boyfriend Caleb, and my family has been extremely supportive of me. So when I was tied up doing city council matters, Jackie made sure that Olivia got picked up from dance or got picked up from school, or she might still be there if it were left up to me to do that because of commitments that I had. And so it's just been very, very rewarding for me, and I'm very honored and humbled to continue to serve as your mayor. I work for the citizens, as I've always made that statement. And so I'm a public servant to our citizens, and I certainly appreciate their support, and we've got some great things going, as I mentioned, underway, and with Dr. Orr's leadership as city manager and our department heads, y'all just do an incredible job, and you're always on my thoughts and in my prayers. And so anyway, I just appreciate everything and looking forward to working with everyone in the future. At this time, I'll continue our council meeting with some remarks at this time. First of all, our upcoming council meetings beginning next month in January, we will revert back to 2 council meetings per month, and those dates will be January the 10th as well as January the 24th. Last Monday, we had our annual Main Street Christmas Parade in the downtown area. It was a tremendous event. Lots of floats, lots of people who came out to enjoy the parade. The parade route was changed up some this year due to the construction around the post office area, but I thought it was a very good route. And I also want to thank Judy Morgan. She provided her personal fire truck for Mayor Brown and I to ride on during the during the parade. It is a vintage fire truck. I think it's a late 1940s model that was owned by her father, the late Jack Kelly, and so want to thank her for loaning that out to us to use in the parade. Also, we have coming up this coming Friday is our annual Unsung Heroes Luncheon. This will be the 4th year for this particular luncheon, and there are those in the community who may not know that much about the Unsung Heroes Luncheon, you know, who it's for, you know, what it's about. So I would like to share with everyone this evening, this event is held at First Baptist Church, and this is the church's newsletter, and Pastor Jeff Shreve, who is the the pastor at First Baptist, wrote in his last article last week in the newsletter a little bit about this luncheon, and I would like to share his comments with you at this time. And he reads as follows. A few years ago, God put it on my heart to have a special Christmas luncheon for those who work difficult vocations that are so necessary for the welfare of our community. These are civil servants who work for the betterment of the greater Texarkana area. Positions in law enforcement, firefighting, sanitation, wastewater and raw water treatment, school bus transportation, school maintenance and custodial departments, city road construction, and other unsung duties such as these are critical for our city in any city to survive and to thrive. For the most part, the people who do these jobs get little to or no recognition for their efforts. Although we all depend on them for our community to function, we often fail to let them know how much we appreciate their hard work. Our Unsung Heroes Luncheon is a tangible way to share our thanks with these hometown heroes and let them know that we love and appreciate them at First Baptist Church, Texarkana. We provide them with a Christmas feast, a gift from our church, a Bible from the Gideons, and a heartfelt thank you. And so we want to sort of appreciate the church for sponsoring this event and look forward to this event coming up once again this Friday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. As a reminder, the Intergovernmental Advisory Committee for the Bi-State Justice Center building will be meeting on Thursday, December the 16th at 10 a.m. Councilmember Williams and I serve on the IAC. This meeting will be held at the Bi-State Justice Center, 100 North State Line Avenue, Texarkana, Arkansas, and the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department Training Room, which is room number 101. Also, we'll have Christmas on Main. This will take place from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. on December the 18th, 2021, at the Perot Theater. Come enjoy the Polar Express, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and It's a Wonderful Life, as well as carriage rides, ice skating, a special visit from Santa Claus, food trucks, kids' crafts, and a 100% chance of snow. For more ticket and activity information, call the Perot box office at 903-792-4992. At this time, we'll have a special presentation in reference to the Texarkana, Texas Fire Department relating to Captain Lucas Shelton. And I have a statement that I would like to read this evening in reference to Captain Shelton and a heroic event that occurred in our community about a week ago. I'm sure I'm sorry. Well, we sure can. Yes, ma'am. If you remind me not to forget that. So, okay, we'll postpone that recognition until a bit later. So I wasn't aware. Thank you, Lisa, for letting me know. And we'll do that recognition a little bit later on during our meeting. At this time, we'll move along to open forum comments from the public. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to address the council, you're welcome to do so. If you are here this evening, however, to speak on behalf of one of our public hearings, I ask that you please hold your remarks until we get to that public hearing item. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak, and we ask that you complete one of the yellow sheets that are on the board there. And so if you would like to address the council, when you come forward, if you could stand over here to my right at the podium, and if you'll also please state your name for the record. And I know that Mr. Riley would like to address the council. So, Mr. Riley, if you'll bring me your sheet, and then feel free to step over here to the podium, and I will recognize you, and you're welcome to speak this evening, sir. So we have Johnny Riley, who would like to address the council, providing an update on the community meetings that have been taking place. So, Mr. Riley, good evening. If you will, please state your name for the record, and thank you for being here this evening.
I'm Johnny Riley, and I'm the pastor of Mount Orange Baptist Church here in Texarkana. And thank you very much, Mayor and City Council, for giving me the opportunity, and leaders of our community. I'm here on behalf of the citizens who have been meeting for the last several weeks, And we've been discussing the crime that's here in our community, not only the crime, but housing, the food deserts, and several other issues that are important to those who are coming to those meetings, not only them, but also I think you. Our job and our goal is very simple. We're not here to stir up, we're here to settle the dust. What do I mean by that? We're looking for solutions. We want to work with the city. We want the city to work with us as we solve some of the issues as it relates to youth crime in our community. Even tonight, I know through a message from Chief that there was even another shooting tonight. We're committed to do what we need to do to eliminate those issues in our community. And we're just not talking about Texarkana, Texas. We're talking about Texarkana, Arkansas also. The pastors and the leaders have had meetings at several churches, not only Mount Orange, but also the Twin City Church of Christ that's on Texas Boulevard. And also, we've had one meeting at the Church of the Living God with Bishop T.L. Taylor there. Our job, we feel, as citizens of this community, is to work with you to bring about the solutions that's going to make Texarkana better for everyone. And we know that we can do this. We just need your help to help us bring additional citizens to the table to help us eliminate these particular problems. Some of the issues that we've discussed, as I've said earlier, crime with our youth, housing, the food desert, youth development, and of course, parenting. We know that some of the issues that are happening in our communities because some of the children are raising themselves. But we're committed to doing what we can do to actually eliminate those particular issues. We're here to bring about solutions. If you have any ideas that will help our city, Texarkana, Texas, Texarkana, Arkansas, Texarkana, USA, become a better place to live, work, and play, we need your help. We're asking all the citizens in this community to help us. On Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock, right after Bible study, we're committed to making this happen. And I want to thank personally Mr. Hart for being there, also each and every time, and also our chief for being there. And I want to publicly say about our chief, he's committed to making it happen. He's committed to doing what it takes to make this place a better place to live. We know all around the country there have been issues between police and the African American community, but I feel personally that the chief that we have is committed to making this place a better place to live. So I want to compliment you, Chief, and your officers for their commitment to making it safe for us. We know that it's tough for you guys, and we know that you guys are unappreciated in many cases because who wants the police behind them to give them a ticket? Who wants the police behind them when something's going on at their home? But we thank you for showing up and being willing to run to where the fire is and be willing to pull it out in our community. So I want to personally thank you for your commitment and for what your officers are doing each and every day here in our community. Let's give them a hand for what they're doing. And of course, those who worked with me before know that I believe in asking for individuals to do something. I need this community to commit to making this place safer for our children. It's going to take us working together to do it. And I believe in miracles. And I believe that we can have a miracle in this community where there are no more crimes, where the police department doesn't need any bullets, they don't need any bulletproof vests, they don't need to patrol the streets each and every night. And that the way that that can happen is we're working together to eliminate crime in our community. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riley. Appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? Comments from the public? Okay, all right, very good. Do we want to shift back to our recognition? Okay, all right. So, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have a special presentation this evening for our Captain Lucas Shelton with the Texarkana, Texas Fire Department, who was involved in a very heroic event that occurred in our community. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you here in the audience, probably saw the videos, whether it happened to be through our local media outlets or perhaps on social media, but I would like to kind of recap what occurred and how Captain Shelton was involved in this encounter. On December 1st at approximately 11 a.m., Captain Shelton and a crew of Quint 1 were called to the Arkansas Viaduct to assist Arkansas police and fire units with an individual who was threatening to jump off the bridge. When crews arrived, they set up their aerial ladder and began working with TAPD and TAFD to come up with a plan of action. Captain Shelton was on the tip of the ladder and was in a good position to attempt to remove the individual from the bridge. And when the time was right, he reached out and grabbed the individual by her belt and pulled her onto the ladder. A struggle ensued, and Captain Shelton gained control of the individual while his crew quickly lowered the ladder to bring the individual to safety. Captain Shelton's actions that day embody what it means to be a firefighter. He risked his own personal safety to save the life of another. His quick thinking combined with strength and determination made all the difference on this day. We are proud to have Captain Shelton as a leader in our fire department, and we are all safer with him on our team. Please join me in thanking Captain Shelton for a job well done. Captain, would you like to share any comments or remarks? I'd love to put people on the spot. So, yeah. So, anything you'd like to share? Yeah. If you'll please come forward, though, we do want to have a photo op, and if you have your family with them, if you'll please bring them up along with the guys in your unit. If you all would please come up too.
This is my wife Courtney and my youngest son Bradley. And this is the driver. That's the guy that was on the turntable there and all that. And Mitchell wasn't there, but he's down there today. And then Battalion Chief Allen, he was out there. So.
Very good. Now, how long have you been with the department?
19 years.
19 years. All right. Well, we certainly thank you for putting your own safety in jeopardy to save the life of a person in our community, and we certainly hope that the person who was saved will be okay and can work through the difficult circumstance that she was going through. I don't have any particulars about that, but just want to ask that we keep her in our thoughts and prayers in the days to come, because someone who is in a position like that has some challenges, and we certainly thank you all for your quick action, and another example of our two cities working together. And we have really worked hard on that relationship, and we've had some great success. So if the Arkansas side needs help, then we're ready to go there and to assist, and vice versa. If we need help, they're always ready to come. And Chief, thank you for your leadership with the department, and a lot of great things taking place with our fire department. So I want to thank you all for your service and bravery very much. Okay, all right. You need to get a picture, Lisa? Okay.
I think bring your parent to school day just got real good for that young man.
I think you're right, Councilmember Davis. All right. At this time, we'll move along to our appointments to boards and commissions and committees. Do we have any appointments or reappointments to be made this evening? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move forward with, we have provided to you, council members, the different committees that we serve on individually as mayor and as council members, in addition to our duties as being on the city council. And so hopefully you've had a chance to review the list that you serve on. And if you're wanting to continue to serve in that role on the committees that you're working with, then your service is certainly greatly appreciated. So is everyone okay with the assignments that you've currently have been given?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right, very good. Well, I certainly thank you all for your service to our annual appointments to review. David, anything we need to add on that? We good on that?
We're good. As long as everyone's in the same role, we're fine.
Okay, okay. All right, very good. Okay, at this time, move along to our items for consideration. We do have 6 items on the consent agenda. Item 1 is consider approval of minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on October 25th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Item 2, consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on November 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Item 3, consider approval of the minutes of the special meeting of the City Council held on November 15th, 2021 at 12:15 p.m. Item 4, resolution number 2021-113, authorizing the city manager to purchase one Freightliner Vatcon dual engine truck through the Hgac buy board with budgeted funds in an amount not to exceed the Texas portion of $266,230.04 and the total amount not to exceed $434,448.50. Item 5, ordinance number 2021-121, amending ordinance 2021-064 concerning fiscal year 2022 city budget to allow for a monetary donation of $1,000 to be added to the police department budget, account number 101-1703-52207, minor tools and equipment, for the purpose of purchasing body armor for the department's single-purpose drug dog by the name of Absurd. And so item number 6 is resolution number 2021-122, amending the master fee list to add a fee for a temporary landing permit. The proposed fee is $335. Unless a council member would like to make a motion, or unless a council member wants to remove one of these items on the consent agenda for further discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Hart, a second by Councilmember Page. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The consent agenda has been approved. Just backing up quickly to item 5, I did note in the packet that we had to look over that this donation was made by the Kennel Club of Texarkana, and I want to certainly thank the Kennel Club for their contribution for this very worthwhile cause. We move on to item number 7, action items. Item 7, resolution number 2021-106, appointing a mayor pro tem beginning December 13th, 2021, until such time the city council elects a successor mayor pro tem. So is there a motion for a council member to be placed in nomination for mayor pro tem?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Gene Matlock
So moved.
mayor pro tem.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Harp, and we also have a second by Councilmember Hart. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, the resolution passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Matlock, for your willingness to serve in the role of Mayor Pro Tem. We certainly appreciate that. Moving along to item number 8, ordinance number 2021-115, approving an amendment to the Fiscal and Personnel Management Agreement with the Texarkana Urban Transportation Study Policy Advisory Board. And we have Achille Fernandez, who will brief us and provide information about this item. Good evening, Achille.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this Fiscal and Personnel Management Agreement, the city is designated as the financial disbursing agent for the Texarkana Urban Transportation Study Advisory Council. Advisory Council. This ordinance is approving amendment to our current agreement, which expires on December 31st, 2021. We're looking to extend that to June 30th, 2022. And I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions for Michelle on this particular item? Okay. Kristen Peoples and Dusty Hensley and I serve on this particular, on the Urban Transit Board. So any questions? Okay, very good. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a, was it made by Ms. Matlock? Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Matlock and a second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, approving an amendment of the Fiscal and Personnel Management Agreement with the Texarkana Urban Transportation Study Policy Advisory Board and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, the ordinance passes. Moving along to item number 9, ordinance number 2021-120, terminating disaster declaration 2021-001, issued on February 15th, 2021, related to the winter weather event. And we have our Fire Chief, Eric Slaughter, to provide information about this item. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. As you might recall, in February we had a small snowstorm that struck our city, resulting in a disaster declaration by the mayor. It was later continued by the council by way of ordinance. All response and recovery efforts have been completed, and there's no other action that we foresee for this event as far as funding or recovering as a city, and thus it's time to terminate the declaration.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? This declaration was signed in my dining room at my house. Eric braved the elements and was able to make it out there and get this signed. So thank you for doing that that day. All right. Unless there are any further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, terminating the declaration of disaster 2021-001, ordered for the City of Texarkana, Texas, by Mayor Bob Brueggemann on February 15th, 2021, providing for publication and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. We'll now move along to our first briefings. We do have some first briefings scheduled for this evening. Items 1 and items 2 are related. Item 1, ordinance number 2021-107, rezoning an approximate 1.89 acre tract of land being tract 139 in the J.W. Johnson Head Right Survey, A-308, located at the southwest corner of Jamison Street and Texarkana Avenue from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3. Anthony Lockhart and Latramont McCutcheon, owners, and John Lane, agent. We'll have a public hearing on this item at our next meeting on January the 10th, and then council consideration will be given that same evening, and this format is consistent with this evening for all of our first briefings. We have Michelle Daniel to brief us on this item. Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is a request to rezone an approximate 1.89 acre tract of land located in the southwest corner of Jamison Street and Texarkana Avenue from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3. The property is currently vacant land. The proposed use is a double-wide HUD code manufactured home. The adjacent zoning is Single Family 2 to the north, south, east, and west, and the adjacent land use is vacant land to the north, west, and east, and a residence to the south. The future land use map has designated this property as industrial. There are manufactured homes located in the immediate area, and staff and planning and zoning did approve this request. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay, thank you, Michelle. And then item 2 relates to the specific use permit. Ordinance 2021-108, granting a specific use permit to allow the location of a double-wide HUD code manufactured home as a residence on a 1.89 acre tract of land being tract 139 in the J.W. Johnson Head Right Survey, A-308, located at the southwest corner of Jamison Street and Texarkana Avenue. Anthony Lockhart and Latramont McCutcheon, owners, and John Lane, agent. Michelle?
Good evening again. This request is for a specific use permit to allow the location of a 2020 or newer double-wide HUD code manufactured home at the southwest corner of Jamison Street and Texarkana Avenue. The property is currently vacant land. As I said before, the adjacent zoning is single-family 2 to the north, south, east, and west, and the adjacent land use is vacant land to the north, west, and east, and a residence to the south. And the future land use map has designated this property as industrial. Staff and Planning and Zoning did approve this item, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay, item 3, ordinance number 2021-109, rezoning lots 1, 2, and the west part of 3, block 13, Richmond Pines, 3rd edition, located north of the residence at 3202 Robin Lane, from single family 1 to planned development townhouse. Jason Wynn, owner, and Brandon Taylor, 2B Builders, agent. Michelle?
So, as you said, this is a request to rezone lots located north of the residence of 3202 Robin Lane from single family 1 to planned development townhouse. The property is currently vacant land, and the proposed use is the construction of townhouses. The adjacent zoning is single family 1 to the north and single family 2 to the west, east, and south. The adjacent land use is residence to the north, west, east, and south. The future land use map has designated this property as suburban residential, and this property is located north of an existing residence at 3202 Robin Lane, which will remain single family 2 and continue to be used as a residence. The proposed townhouses will be platted for individual sale or rent. Staff and Planning and Zoning did approve this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Michelle? Okay. Item number 4, ordinance number 2021-110, approving an amendment to PD-21-3TH for site plan on lots 1, 2, and west part of 3, block 13, Richmond Pines, 3rd edition, located north of the residence at 3202 Robin Lane. Jason Wynn, owner, Brandon Taylor, 2B Builders, agent. Michelle?
Okay, again, this is a request for site plan approval located north of the residence at 3202 Robin Lane. The property is currently vacant land, and the proposed use is the construction of townhouses. The adjacent zoning is single-family 1 to the north and single-family 2 to the west, east, and south, and the adjacent land use is residence to the north, west, east, and south. The future land map has designated this property as suburban residential. The proposed townhouses will be platted for individual sale or rent. Due to the planned development designation, the specific requirements are construction of 2 two-story buildings with 4 townhouses in each building. The facade will be brick and hardy board. The access will be from Robin Lane with parking in the rear of the proposed development. There will be no signage, and there will be a concrete sidewalk to connect parking from the back to in front of each unit. Lights will also be shielded down away from the residences. Staff and Planning and Zoning did approve this item, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do you know if there's a consideration for a phase 2 to basically duplicate this on the back side of this property?
I do not know at this time.
Okay.
I have not heard that, but I'll find out, or I'll check and see.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Michelle. We're on 5, aren't we? Item number 5, ordinance number 2021-111, approving an amendment, PD-01-8, multifamily-1, for a site plan approval on lot 1, 2, and 3, block 2, Brookwood Acres Edition, located in the 500 block of Belt Road. Jason Wynn, owner, Brandon Taylor, 2B Builders, agent. Michelle?
Okay, again, as you said, this is a request for site plan approval located in the 500 block of Belt Road. The proposed use is townhouse style 2-story apartment units. The property is currently vacant land. The adjacent zoning is planned development multiple family 1 to the north and south, two-family 2 to the west, and planned development multiple family 1 and single family 2 to the east. The adjacent land use is a residential to the north, south, west, and east. The future land use map designates this property as neighborhood residential. Specific requirements for this property are access will be off Cheyenne Place and Apache Trail. There will be no signage. The facade will be hardy siding and brick. A screened dumpster site is required to be located in the parking area. There will also be sidewalks from the front of the property connecting the parking and back. And they will continue the privacy fence along the rear of the property connecting to the duplexes on Apache Trail. Staff and Planning and Zoning did approve this, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay. Item number, thank you, Michelle. Item number 6 is resolution number 2021-112, approving a redistricting services contract based on the 2020 U.S. Census. And Dr. David Orr is going to brief us on this item. David?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the redistricting process is necessary every 10 years in connection with the U.S. Census population figures from the 2020 Census. Staff recommends the use of Bickerstaff, Heath, Delgado, and Acosta, which is the same firm the city used in the 2010 redistricting process. The firm will consult the City Council and establish a schedule of performance, including council meetings, work sessions, and public hearings, and establishing target deadlines for the City Council adoption of a redistricting plan. The firm will also advise the City Council and clearly define the council's responsibility in the redistricting process. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
I believe, Dr. Orr, this same firm is being retained by TISD to do some same type of work.
That is correct. Okay. And we did check with a few other firms. This late in the game, there's a lot of firms that are already booked, and so we did look at the firm that the county used and a few others locally, but this was the only one that responded to us. And again, they were our firm 10 years ago, so that's one of the reasons why we were able to secure them.
Okay, all right. Any questions for David on this item? All right. Item number 7, resolution number 2021-116, adopting evaluative factors and administrative procedures for low-income housing tax credits resolution request, containing a fact finding that the city has more than twice the state average of units per capita supported by housing tax credits or private activity bonds. And Vashil Fernandez is back up to brief us on this item. Vashil?
Thank you, Mayor. So the federal law provides federal income tax credits to help stimulate private developers to invest in and construct low-income housing. And those funds get allocated to the state, and part of what the state requires from the developers is to get a resolution from the municipality where the development is going to take place. And so as a city, we've put together this evaluating factors that's consistent with state and federal laws as well as our local ordinances to ensure due diligence by these developers. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 8, ordinance number 2021-117, closing and abandoning an unopened 25-foot street right-of-way of Bradley Street, located north of Pacific Avenue, south of Greenview Drive, and east of lots 49 and 57 in the Belmont addition. And Jonathan Wade is going to brief us on this one. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. The city received a request from Mr. Jeffrey Wood on behalf of Nancy Electric to abandon a unopened 25-foot street right-of-way at Bradley Street. This located in the Belmont addition, east of lots 49 and 57. It is north of Pacific Avenue and south of Greenview Drive. In regards to this section, all adjacent lots adjacent to this abandonment area are owned by Nancy Electric, and as a result, if abandoned, all property right-of-way would be delivered to Nancy Electric. A memorandum was sent out to city departments and utility representatives. The only comments that were reserved were from utility representatives who requested that a utility easement be retained throughout the entirety of the abandonment area. The city has no future purposes to use this section in any way at the moment, and staff recommends approval of the abandonment and retainage of utility easements.
Okay. Any questions for Jonathan? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 9, resolution number 2021-118, authorizing the city manager to enter into a Chapter 380 economic development agreement with Winco Foods. And Lisa Thompson is going to brief us on this item. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight, I am very excited to be bringing you a resolution to consider offering an incentive agreement to Winco Foods. They are a retail grocery store with plans to move to the Texarkana market and locate in Texarkana, Texas. This new project would not only redevelop the current Sears building located at 2400 Richmond Road at Central Mall, but it will also add 90 new jobs at or above Texarkana's current per capita income. Total project investment would exceed $21 million, redevelop 9 acres of land with a new 84,000 square foot facility. The current timeline to complete the project would be spring of 2023, so a little ways out, but we need to take steps now to get that ball rolling. It's expected that this redevelopment would increase the property tax value significantly, provide a catalyst for future redevelopment in the area, and as it sits south of Interstate, is in a food desert area, so a needed project. If approved, the deal, which is detailed in your package, would include a sales tax rebate based on 1.5% local city sales tax on the portion of total project costs directly related to new construction, and would offer a Chapter 380 agreement tied to new jobs and a minimum payroll base. The proposal has been in partnership with Artex Ready, and staff does recommend approval. We have representatives on Zoom tonight. Greg Goins, he's the VP of Real Estate for Winco Foods. Winco Project Manager Ron Schreiber, I don't know if he was able to join us. Also the mall owner, Felix Resnick, is with us. So I'm happy to answer questions, and I know the folks participating via Zoom would be as well.
Okay.
Greg, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am.
Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, other than, first of all, good evening, Mayor and Council. Winco has been working diligently in your community for the last couple of years, working to put together what we consider to be a really good project at a very, very good location. We very much appreciate all the help that we have received from your staff and from the city in trying to put this project together, as well as mall ownership, Felix Resnick, who's on the line with us tonight. So bottom line, we're very excited about the opportunity to build a new store in your community. We currently have construction drawings that are being processed through the city for permits as we speak. As I'm sure you can appreciate, the post-COVID construction climate has become very, very tough for a lot of retailers, a lot of people trying to build new projects. So every dollar counts, and so we are hopeful that you can support this request on our behalf tonight. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, Greg, thank you very much. Only question I have, will you have Bluebell ice cream?
If you're asking for it, we'll have it.
Okay, well, this is a very exciting project, and we're certainly looking forward to this. This location is south of Interstate 30, and so I think it's in a great corridor for a grocery store like this. And I've been doing some research on your company. Y'all are very successful and employee-owned, and so we're just really looking forward to working with you. And also, Felix, thank you on behalf of the mall for working with us on this as well. And I know that you all have a big role in this as well, and I think it will bring a lot of development to Central Mall and more activity to our mall. So I think it's going to be a win-win. And so once again, Felix, thank you for on your part with the mall.
Thank you. And, it's a shame that this is the first time we're meeting, but I've actually been to Texarkana a number of times. But I think this is going to be a great addition. We've done this. We actually own 32 centers, and whenever we bring in a use like this, or entertainment or multifamily, it really gives a boost to the rest of the mall. You'll find that a lot of the rental activity increases in the mall itself, and sales tax revenue will go up. So, you know, I think the Sears has been closed since 2017, and it'd be nice to have something there that's, you know, vibrant and viable. So, it'd be great.
So I guess the only other question I have is, so the former Sears space, that will be torn down, am I correct? All right, and then I guess there'll be a permanent wall there, and then the store will be a distance from the main mall facility, is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, okay. All right, very good. Any questions from the council on this item?
Well, I had the opportunity to go to their location in Tulsa this past weekend, and I've spent 12 years in the grocery business, and I think this will definitely be well received within our community. I think that store was opened up last year in February, and one of the things that I look at in grocery stores is wear and tear and how well it was kept up, and that store looked like it was grand opening ready when I walked in that day. So I think it'll be a good addition to our community.
Okay, well, very good. We're excited about that. So, Lisa, anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, item 10 is resolution number 2021-119, authorizing the city manager to amend the contract for exclusive ambulance service with LifeNet Incorporated. Chief Slaughter is back to brief us on this item. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. The item before you is a resolution that, if approved, would allow the city manager to amend the current contract with LifeNet EMS for the exclusive ambulance service here in the city. A few weeks ago, LifeNet approached the city and asked for a couple of changes in the contract. The changes were precipitated by the pandemic, so LifeNet's having issues like every other company in the country right now with finding staffing, finding trained personnel, and then to couple with that, increased wall times at the hospitals. When the ambulances transport somebody to the hospital, the wall time is how long the unit has to stay there before they can unload the patient. Those times have gone up during the pandemic, and both of those items coupled together, so a lack of paramedics, a lack of trained personnel coming into the field, has made it difficult for LifeNet to staff enough ambulances to serve our area. So the first substantial change that they're asking for is for the city to consider allowing them to staff BLS or basic life support ambulances in our area. So currently under the contract requires that every ambulance in our area be an advanced life support unit, an ALS unit. That means that that unit has at least one paramedic on the truck at all times. And so the difference between the two is just the level of care that they can provide to a patient. So an advanced ambulance with a paramedic, they can give drugs, do advanced cardiac procedures, intubate, start IVs, things like that. So a very high level of service, pretty much similar to what you're going to get in the first 30 minutes to an hour in the emergency room. Basic unit would be 2 EMTs, and they just provide basic care. So bandaging, splinting, CPR, oxygen, no medications, no advanced procedures. And so of all the calls that LifeNet responds to in our city, only a fraction of those require or need that advanced ambulance. There are many, many calls that could be handled with the BLS unit, and so the training level's lower. It's easier to get those employees trained up to the EMT level. The paramedic level takes an additional year or two to get those people trained up, and that's really the level that they're missing staff at this time. So that first change would allow them to staff BLS units. It would not change in the contract the requirement for an ALS unit to respond to a life-threatening emergency. So say somebody's having a heart attack, an ALS unit still has to respond to that call. These BLS units that they would bring into their system would respond to inter-facility transfers or low acuity, low priority calls that come in where somebody fell or the injuries aren't suspected of being life-threatening. And so these units would just be used to help with the call volume and the wall times and the lack of staffing. The second substantial change that they requested in the contract was to be able to charge a fee for calls for service that aren't medically related or necessary. So LifeNet and the fire department respond to many, many calls that are just lift assist calls. Somebody needs to be moved. They haven't even fallen. They just need help moving, or they need help getting something in their home, or whatever the case might be, and they don't know who to call, so they call 911. They dispatch LifeNet or the fire department. And so an ambulance and a fire truck or both are tied up and go to the call and assist the citizen. There is a liability in these calls, and it does tie up units. And so LifeNet is asked for the ability to charge for these calls for service because it does take manpower and resources to handle the call, so they need to be compensated to offset that. There are other minor changes that all relate to definitions being added to help explain both of the substantial changes. But both of these, as I stated, have been somewhat driven by the pandemic, but it's important to note that if we amend the contract, those changes become permanent, or at least permanent in the contract until it's revised again. They won't end necessarily when the pandemic ends. And with that, I'd be happy to add explanation or answer any questions you might have.
So Eric, remind me, when does the current contract expire?
You got me with the best good question. It's been renewed several times,
Right.
But I'm not sure exactly. I can get that information for you if David doesn't have it, but.
I was just mainly curious. I didn't know if it was coming up rather quickly or so.
As far as I know, that there's no end date, so it's an annual renewal each year.
Okay.
Unless we decide to go.
Correct, unless the city terminates.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the council? Okay.
And I do believe the rate mentioned for the lift assist or non-medical calls would be half of the base rate, which would put it at about $400.
Okay. Any other questions for Eric? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This concludes our first briefings. We'll now move along to public hearings. We do have 3 public hearings scheduled. Item 1 is resolution number 2021-101, approving the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG 2020 Comprehensive Assessment Performance Evaluation Report. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis and a second by Councilmember Page. This item pertains to a resolution, so there is not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes. Item 2, ordinance number 2021-102, closing and abandoning an unopened 40-foot street right-of-way for Ward Avenue, located north of Austin Street and east of Collier Street, between Block 6 and Block 9 of the Greater Texarkana Addition. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart and a second by Councilmember Matlock. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, closing and abandoning an unopened 40-foot street right-of-way for Ward Avenue, located north of Austin Street and east of Collier Street, between Block 6 and Block 9 of the Greater Texarkana Addition in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, providing for a severability clause and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Item 3 is resolution number 2021-105, approving the city's mission, vision, and values statements. If anyone would like to address the public hearing is now open. If anyone would like to address the council on this item, please come forward. This time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have Motion by Councilmember Williams, a second by Councilmember Davis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Resolution passes. This concludes our public hearings portion of the agenda. We'll now move along to items for discussion. City Manager's report. David?
Evening again, Mayor and Council. Just a few items to brief you on. First, last week, staff presented the final water rate true-up to the member cities. And just again, the water rate calculation increased this year by 0.0741 cents per 1,000 gallons, or 7.97%. As a result, our annual water cost for Texarkana, Texas will increase by $95,604 annually, or $7,967 per month. Again, that's the cost to produce water. That's not our water rate. But we're looking at the water rate, and we'll include that information with our rate study that we hope to have to you later this next budget cycle, probably in April or May. Wanted to mention the Skycam. KTBS Skycam, you may have noticed, is now downtown. It shows the federal courthouse on Channel 3. And this Skycam was sponsored by Farmers Bacon Trust, the Texarkana Arts and Historic District, and the Arkansas A&P Commission. So another example, as you mentioned earlier, of working together. And so big thanks to Keith Beeson on our staff and our Arts and Historic District for making this project happen. Also want to mention a planning award that was received recently. So Texarkana was selected again as one of 34 cities in the state to receive the Texas chapter of the American Planning Association's Planning Excellence Award. This award is in recognition of the professional planning standards demonstrated by our staff, our Planning and Zoning Commission, and you as our City Council. Congratulations to Vashil and Michelle and their staff for receiving this recognition. Quick update on water rights permit. And that's the long and short of it is we're still working on it. And so I'm still working with City of Sulphur Springs, City of Irving, North Texas, and Upper Trinity. They've all filed protest against our water rights application. We hope to have more information in January, but we are still working diligently with Riverbend and with Kyle on these permits. And then you mentioned the bi-state meeting again. That's this Thursday. I won't go over that. MPO. I just wanted to kind of make sure everyone's aware that there is the final state line corridor study plan that's available on the MPO's website. So I've included a link here. As y'all may recall, this was a number of public meetings that we held earlier this fall. And so the final plan is on the website. There's two different alternatives for the plan based on public feedback. So I think that overall it's a very good plan moving forward. Again, there's $24 million for the corridor itself, and that is funded by both TxDOT and RDOT, and the scheduled start date is in 23-24. So it'll be here before we know it. And then just a couple of save the dates. We have save the date for the Chamber of Commerce annual celebration. That's January 21st at 6 p.m. at the Texarkana, Arkansas Convention Center. And then we have a State of the City breakfast Wednesday, January 26th at 8 a.m. at First United Methodist Church, Texarkana, Arkansas. And that's not to be confused with tomorrow's Leadership Texarkana breakfast, also at the same location at 8 a.m. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, David. Any questions or comments with David's report? All right. This time move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council this evening directed to the staff?
Just take the time to wish them all a Merry Christmas and recognize the reason for the season.
That's right. It's been a quick year. It really has. So thank you, Councilmember Davis. Any final comments from the staff?
Just to echo Jay's comment, we wish you a Merry Christmas. And also, I just want to thank you all for the mission, vision, and values passage tonight. I think that's really big for our staff. I know that JW's in the back waiting to hit send on our coaching reviews, and so we will put those to work tomorrow morning. And each of those values will be how our staff is evaluated on an annual basis, and we'll use those consistently throughout our operations. So I just really appreciate your vote for that tonight.
Okay. All right. You're welcome.
I have something.
Ms. Matlock?
Yes, I'd like to thank the city staff. I don't know who to thank, but every week seems like I'm noticing something that's been done that I've been wanting done for a long time, and I look out and say, oh, they did it. They finally did it. So I don't know what you all are doing, but it's working.
And I'd like to echo that. I have one resident. very special. Miss Buford is retired. She's ill, and when she asks for something, she really wants it done. And I got to know her and talk to her, and I reassured her that we do care about her. And now when she calls for something, she's just sweet and kind, and that's really the person that she really is. So I'd like to continue to deal with our citizens in that way, so that whenever something wrong, even if they're upset, that they end up being nice, kind, with a sweet smile on their face. And I want to thank you all for turning that around for us, because it meant a lot to a lot of people, and they do see the difference.
Certainly, I appreciate those comments, and I'll certainly pass it along to our staff that does the work and deserves the credit as well, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hart. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Davis?
Just, I want to reiterate, as far as our mission, vision, and value statements, it's not just an evaluation tool or a goal for our city staff, but we're the ones who passed it. So I think that would be something that we need to be mindful of when we're up here making decisions, you know,
Right.
for our city as well. So
Yes.
I would definitely challenge each of us to get to know that. And if there's something that you don't agree with, let's talk about. And it's these documents are meant to be molded and you know, change as the city changes. So it's exciting to see this at least a starting point for us.
Absolutely.
I agree, and I was just going to add too, I think this is the first time, at least in our research, that Jennifer's been able to find that we've had an overall mission, vision, and value statement. So that's, like I said, that's a big step forward for us, so we're excited about it.
Very good. All right, thank you, Councilmember Davis. Thank you, David. Any other comments or anything?
Did you announce the readathon? I forgot all about it.
I will certainly do that, Ms. Matlock. The annual Theron Jones Early Literacy Center will be having their Winter Wonderland Readathon. This will be held on Friday, December the 17th from 8:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. And those who would like to participate, you're asked to be a featured reader to a class of eager students, and then enjoy holiday goodies. And I've been there several times. They have very good goodies prepared by staff. The students wear their pajamas, and also the teachers, and so it's a great time to go and to read a book. They have books that are provided, so you don't necessarily have to bring a short story book, but the children always enjoy it. And so if you've not already secured your reading time, you can call Annette Daniels, and she is the volunteer coordinator, and her number is 903-793-4871. Extension 5506, that's 903-793-4871, extension 5506, or you can email her at annette.daniels@txkisd.net. So I know several on the council participate in this each year, and so I always enjoy attending if my schedule allows, and it's a great morning, and right before they're out for the Christmas holiday. So.
I would like to say that the Heritage Church
Yes.
provides pajamas for the entire school, and they've done it for the last 4 or 5 years. I think my great-grandson's in 5th grade. They've been doing it since he was in 2nd.
Really?
So probably before that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we want to thank Heritage Church for providing the pajamas for the children. So thank you for that reminder, Ms. Matlock. All right, anything else to be brought before the council? All right, the council will be going into a closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with the city attorney in Sections 551.076 and 551.089, deliberation regarding security devices or security audits. And for the guests in the audience and those who are watching live stream, the council will go into closed session, and after reconvening into open session, the council has one action item to consider, and live streaming will resume at that time. So we will come back with live streaming when we have our action item to come back to the meeting with out of closed session. Is that correct or not?
We have no other agenda items after closed.
Okay, so we'll have the closed session then adjourn. Is that correct? Okay, all right. So let me correct that. So the council will go into closed session, no action taken, and then the council will adjourn the meeting in closed session. All right? After closed session. Thank you. I always look at the city attorney, make sure I'm saying the right words. So anyway, but thank you for being here this evening, and those of you who are joining us on live stream, thank you for joining us, and hope you have a great evening and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.